Hey everybody, today is September 29th, 2023. I'm Gene.
And I'm Zane.
And welcome to Hanging with Uncle.
We're back! How's it going, man?
Oh man, I had a fabulous 2 weeks off. Spent in Hawaii, man.
Yep, that's why we were off, of course. Hope you guys had a good vacation as well.
It was just so relaxing, man. I showed you a few pictures, and it's just so peaceful. But again, one of the things, like I showed you the pictures of the birds eating out of my wife's hand, right? I mean, there's no way you could think about doing that here.
No, gross.
But it's like nature sometimes will give you a clue of what it's like to live without fear.
Yep.
And how peaceful that is. And that's like, I can't, that's the best way I can describe it, man. It's just, it's like having the force.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's that cool, man.
I've had a few, animal encounters kind of like that. Not necessarily holding an animal for sure is one thing, but holding a python, whichever, a bunch of kids, but being close to deer or dogs react to me differently. I don't know what it is. They're normally calm to me, and cats too. Tom magnetic first connection day one, obviously. Yeah. But
he demands it.
I've not had a bird land in my hand. It's something that I have thought about. Not necessarily a hummingbird. Hummingbirds can land for a certain amount of time. But I would love to have a hummingbird land in my hand or something like that. But
yeah,
seeing those pictures in the videos, it's really cool that you got to just be in this. It's a blissful environment that you guys were in. It's beautiful. Just seeing all the imagery.
Blissful. That's a great description, man.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it felt like.
Achieving bliss.
The beach felt like bath water. You just walk out into the water and
that's awesome.
I'm
ready to go next time.
Wonderful. Definitely.
I'm ready to go.
Definitely.
It looks a lot of fun. I won't be in the ocean.
Mimosas for breakfast.
We may have to mix that up. I can't have oranges.
So
I like pomegranate though. I know there's a...
Well, pog is passion fruit,
and
orange, and guava.
Mm-hmm. I can't have the orange part. We have to find something to get around that.
Maybe I'll have passion fruit.
Yeah, I love passion fruit.
Yeah.
I like honey mead too. Anyways, moving on. Hopefully you guys had a wonderful break from the show. We're back at it again, but we have a few things to discuss today.
Yeah, please hit the subscribe button.
Yeah, also I was gonna say, we gotta do an intro. And hit the notification bell whenever we go live, right now, when we're done with our break, you know when we're back.
And hit that thumbs up, that like button really helps spread the word about our channel. So thank you very much.
We love to hear from you guys too. If you are tuning in live, to come in and chat with us too, whenever. Or if you catch us on the recording, hit the comments section, get some discussions going. We'd love to reply to you and discuss topics.
NBA news, man, just to start real quick.
It's
kind of big
stuff. Yeah, I just broke it to you. You haven't quite heard about it.
I'm wrapping my head around it. Yeah, and I'm seeing a lot of possibilities because there's spots that need to be filled.
There is a big three in Milwaukee. Damian Lillard has been shipped from Portland to Milwaukee to play with Giannis Antetokounmpo, and is a stab in the heart for Suns fans because that's who we ran into, that brick wall we hit in 2021 in the finals, and they had to go get something to even out the playing field with our Bradley Beal acquisition. So
yeah.
I love Dame Dollar, man.
I wonder where Drew Holiday is going to wind up.
Yes,
I see him
with the loss of Drew Holiday. It is huge. They don't have a lot of defense.
Yeah.
They do have Middleton, but he has been injury prone. He's getting OLD.
He is long in the tooth, man.
Yes. But he is a part of that big three. He did put up 40 in the playoffs last year. I mean, it doesn't look like he's going to skip a beat. He might be like the CJ McCollum, my own pace, my own game, I score kind of player.
Maybe.
I mean, that kind of is how he is already, so who knows? But yeah, the Drew Holiday question. I honestly, even though Damian Lillard is a big move, especially for Milwaukee to make, I think a lot of teams could massively upgrade with Drew Holiday and be more of a threat.
I could see him in LA, man.
He could go to either LA team. If he went to the Clippers, imagine how crazy that would be. If he went to Boston, imagine how crazy that would be. If the Heat, who are losing out on every single acquisition that they're attempting for, try to go for Drew Holiday, he can possibly go there. There are dogs there. So it's like, Drew Holiday anywhere is scary for me. Honestly.
Yeah. Without a doubt, man.
So,
without a doubt.
Especially with the defense he can provide. And I think Milwaukee is missing out on that because any team that they run into that has Drew Holiday, he will give Lillard some business. So, who knows? There's a big twist in the NBA story there. The basketball authorization of just what's going to happen, the story, it's going to be huge, man. I don't know. It's crazy. I'm super excited for the season now.
It is, man. It is. So the state of California, man.
Yes.
I think this is a good example of what it means to govern.
Mm-hmm. The state of California put in a law, actually, in notion to find schools that remove history and education history from their schools.
No banning books.
Yes. Huge, honestly. I think it's a positive move. Reason why I agree with it, I just became CPR certified and I have to teach the material that I have been taught. I'm not going to amend the material, and it is factual that I have to do it that way. I'm not going to say no breaths. I'm going to do it on my own way. Remove CPR history, even though it does change every 5 years, but it's like modifying education to people that is not okay. Taking things that they should know, knowledge, history, that's what it's there for.
But and when CPR comes out with something, it's science-based. So if it changes to this,
which is factual,
then this is what CPR is teaching, then this is what I'll do.
Mm-hmm. And history is also fact.
Right.
And it is knowledge, again, that you should not lack. Everyone should know history. Imagine a whole generation that doesn't know what you know about the history of America. That's insane to me. So we have to put a law into effect to where we can prevent schools from removing this education because they are removing this education, which is, again, scary.
But not only that, Governor Newsom also signed into law that fast food workers be paid minimum wage of $20 an hour.
Good.
And again, to me, it goes against that argument about somebody wants to say, well, why should they get paid this? It's minimal skill. Well, it's not about minimal skill. Minimal skill should equal minimum profits.
Let me ask you a counter question. Why should I pay this much for minimal safety and structure to live and survive under?
You don't want to live in an unsafe building that's going to collapse on you and kill you in your sleep.
Right. Why am I paying $1,900 to live there?
So, again, it's just...
a basic building.
It is. And then the California economy, $20 an hour probably is still not enough to live. However, if you have two people living under one roof, maybe you can get by.
Maybe. But one person cannot thrive. And one person making minimum wage in most places in America cannot survive. Spend $1,900 for a month.
Right.
Imagine that. So yes, you do have to pay them more for the minimal skills that they provide because the minimum things that they require to survive are increasing.
So again, I'm not trying to beat a dead horse, but McDonald's makes over $5 billion for-profit dollars annually, right?
Can't cough up a...
So let's just say McDonald's makes $4 billion profit, right? And that $1 billion is spent improving everybody's wage. That would not drive the cost of your burger up 1 penny. What you pay attention to, if you see the price going up, is because they're trying to keep that same profit margin. And that's where you see the spike in increase in product, because it does not have to happen.
It would change the worker culture. Companies would most likely stay away from the robotic direction that we're going, removing jobs from workers.
That's a
because
whole
they would
other
rather have a
conversation
robot.
because I support a UBI.
So yeah, I mean, it's just like people have to have jobs to work at and they have to survive. That's kind of the bottom line. That's the conversation about it.
Right.
Like,
So again, thank you, Governor Newsom, for bringing up the wage in California to people who go to work.
hopefully that echoes all across the country.
It does, but now let's turn toward congressmen and see what they're doing with the debt ceiling, right?
Right.
The government's going to shut down in what, tomorrow? Or
I don't know. This is news to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it had midnight or tomorrow midnight or something like that. But
It like actually like it's going to close.
the government shuts down. So what will happen is border security, right? Border Patrol won't get paid, which means they won't be funded. So if you don't want to fund Border Patrol, Republicans, I guess that means you support open borders. That's what it sounds like to me.
I mean, our north border is pretty open.
Well, think about it, and I have to amend a statement I made before. We have 5 borders. North, South, Atlantic Ocean, Pacific Ocean. But we also have our skies. Let's not forget the amount of people that fly into this country on visas, overextend them, and are here illegally. But we don't pay attention to that because when we talk about border security,
We're thinking about
it's just a racist dog whistle about Mexicans, and it offends me to no end.
It really is, honestly. But that's why I brought up the northern border. It's like, that one's free to go, right? Are we arming that one too? Because that's more jobs for Americans. I can see that.
They're not trying to keep white people out.
Makes sense. Anyways.
Yeah.
So the government's shutting down.
So yeah,
We're not really free to do everything. Right?
Military wouldn't get paid. National parks would close.
Yes. Yeah, like... I remember this happening, when was the last time that...
TSA would have to work for free.
When was the last time there was a close?
2019.
9 years after I graduated? Was there one before that as well? Because I remember one happening when I was in school also.
There was another one during the Obama administration.
Yeah,
I want to say it was 2000 and...
Was it like 8?
10?
Was it 10?
It was right after Obamacare.
Was it my
or the
senior
Affordable
year in
Care
high
Act
school?
passed.
I think that's what it was.
That's when they shut it down. So it might have been 13.
Interesting.
That's when dumbass Ted Cruz got up there reading Green Eggs and Ham thinking...
I remember that!
So think about it. I don't want to try it. I don't like it. But what's the last page of the story? I tried it. I like it. I do like it. You know, but he doesn't realize he's making a dumbass of himself. But,
I remember that happening. Yeah, and that's when we started talking about filibusters way back when.
Right.
Yeah. Holy shit, we've been doing this for a while.
I know. I know.
Anyways, off track, off topic, we do have other things to talk about.
Yes.
There's a conviction.
Scott Hall.
Yes.
Yes.
You care to take the stand there?
In the Georgia case, in Fonnie Wilton's RICO case, the 19 defendants that are charged, including Cadet Bone Spurs, one person, Scott Hall, pled guilty. So there is one conviction already. And the beautiful thing about that, and this to me is a dual-headed coin, right? State courts, you can televise, and you see the benefit of it being televised.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Federal courts, you don't televise, and I see the benefits of not televising.
Yeah.
But in this one, the guy walks up with his attorney, has read his rights, pleads guilty, and he got 5 years probation, no jail time, X amount of dollars in fines, community service.
What? They hooked him up.
Right, but so he also is now turned around and being a cooperating witness.
Oh,
right.
Rat
so the
City.
dominoes are falling.
Rat City.
Yeah.
Ooh, boy, we're about to figure it out.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm ready. This is what I've been waiting for, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, here we go. Where are they going to start? When's the mafia going to start turning on each other?
Well, and now we have 2 defendants who pled for speedy trial, Cheesebro and Powell, the Release the Kraken lady, that go to trial on October 23rd. So we have less than a month for those 2 to go to trial because of their speedy trial request.
Wow. And
we think we still have one guilty.
Yeah, they're going to
they're going to be okay. So
singing canary style.
I believe between now and then it is very possible, man, because you never know. They probably want them to sing all the way up.
They'll take water and gargle before they even sing.
Yeah,
just to make sure, like, yes. Like,
they want to make sure they get Bone Spurs, Giuliani, Clark, Eastman. They want to make sure they get those people. And don't forget, in Georgia, the special grand jury also recommended Lindsey Graham and Boris Epstein and 20 other people to be indicted as well. But Fonnie Willis decided only to do it to these 19. Are they off the hook? No, because the statute of limitations has not run. Let's get these 19 out of the way. And I would not be surprised to watch subpoenas falling for Lindsey Graham and Boris and hosts of other people that were involved as well, but just not tried with this group of 19. It's possible. I mean, one can only hope.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds interesting. Like, I mean, we had this conversation about should it be televised. And, I mean, I feel like when we discussed it with that valid reasoning of inciting and possibly having an incitement of some way, shape, or form of movement, which possible, it's a real possibility. But, I mean, if it is televised, then I'll catch the highlights. Cause
it is. Every bit of it is televised, man.
I know Asmongold is hoping it is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I've watched the arguments to sever, and the judge denied the motion to sever Powell and Chesbro. I watched that unfold on TV, them arguing back and forth, and it was heated, man.
Yeah.
It was heated, but in my opinion, the judge made the right decision, based on the law of grand jury. And I'll just leave it at that. You guys, whatever you think, leave it in the comments below.
Yeah, let us know, honestly. Just let us know.
Yeah. But now there's something else I want to talk about.
Yeah. And
again, man, it's just like, you know how ripples, they go out and then they come back because they ping off something else?
Well, yeah.
It's the hypocrisy on the Republican Party side. So Republicans control the House. They can't govern to save their ass. They're going to shut the government down. But the other day they had an oversight hearing with these experts to prove Biden's guilt and why they should justify impeachment proceedings, right? And all of them, Professor John Turley, I mean, he's a staunch Republican, and he's like, look, there's nothing here to indict on. There's nothing here impeachable.
And AOC had like an announcement.
Oh my God, they blew Republicans out of the water, man. So Jamie Raskin opened with, well, if this is going to be a hearing on the findings of Hunter Biden and the corruption of Joe Biden and Burisma in Ukraine, why don't we subpoena the people that were involved in it? Let's subpoena Rudy Giuliani and Lev Parnas. Because they were the ones sent to Ukraine by Cadet Bone Spurs to find dirt and dig up dirt on Trump. Or dig up dirt on Biden.
On Biden, yeah.
Right. And so they blocked that, they tabled it, they refused to discuss it. It's like they did their best, man, to like be turtles in a shell and just totally deflect any truth that came their way. And it was just painful to watch.
instructor for CPR was like, they finally got that bastard. Yep. I went, who? I fell into it, and she was explaining like how Joe's helping. I'm like, so what does it have to do with the presidency? Because I wanted to know what she had to say, and she was like, because it connects Joe to covering up and sweeping under the rug things of crime and stuff like that Hunter has committed, that Joe is covering up for him. Like, interesting. I have not heard that before. That's news to me. So, I played the dummy, you know how I do. That really would just like influence just like the presidency. Like, they'd probably like impeach him. And she's like, yeah, I try to do the same thing that they did to, Trump too. She's like, I don't agree with everything that he said, does as well. I was like, a little bit of sanity, okay. And she's like, but the economy was not in the hole where it was when now it is today. And of course, you have explained the counter argument to that, which you're about to do. Yeah, I was like, interesting. I'm like, okay, so yes, Trump had the economy under wraps. And then when Joe hopped in, the economy became that. Okay, yeah, so that's the part that you liked about it. She's like, yes. I'm like, okay, cool, but everything else you don't agree with. She's like, no, I didn't agree with anything else about what he did.
So number one,
yeah, go ahead.
Again,
go off.
I don't bow to the court of public opinion because some lying asshole on Fox News says something. And they lie all the time. That's why they're paying billions of dollars out in defamatory lawsuits because of the lies they tell. I don't understand why anyone that has sound mind and body would listen to them as a basis for truth and fact. They just lie. And number one, there was more spending under Cadet Bonespurs. He added $8 trillion to the deficit, to the debt. And under President Biden, spending is less. And
jobs are more.
Wages are more. The GDP, which is the gross domestic product, is growing at a higher rate than ever was done in the previous administration. Again, it's just listening to talking points of people that don't know what they're talking about. And it's like you choose to be willfully ignorant if you only watch one thing because you think the other side is bullshit. I shouldn't listen to that. You listen to one thing, team mentality, that sheep, you go with the herd mentality, you'll always be led astray.
Pop off. Because you're being led. And blindly, that's basically it. Yeah. They walk by faith, not by sight, Gene. Oops. Anyways, I had to drop it on, but I stayed neutral in the conversation, but it brought a little cheer to me that she didn't agree with everything else, which I was okay with that. I'm like, okay, so you can be incorrect in one spot, but I'm glad that everything else you're okay with that you didn't agree with.
And not only that, but
I was going to bring up women's rights, him taking that away from you.
there have been 2 investigations started during the previous administration with Durham, and then now with John Weiss, who's been investigating the Bidens since 2018 when Cadet Bonespurs appointed him under that administration, under Bill Barr. And again, I don't care about public opinion. If you have this evidence, don't tell it out on the public media. Bring it in court with the evidence to show what you have as a crime, and then maybe I'll give some validity to what you're saying. Otherwise, you're just blowing a bunch of hot air, trying to rile the people up and get them going down a path of your misinformation.
Yeah, it's just make sure you go to different sources. We say here on Uncle, we aren't a source of information. We're just talking. We talk about things. And if you want to go and check it out and find the facts, you are more than welcome to, or join in the conversation. That's why we say that all the time, because it's just a conversation that we're having about what we have seen and heard, and also have learned from multiple things that we have looked out and sourced out. So again, we think of you guys as a resource, conversating with us about things. Like it's kind of just how it is. Like, but anyways.
So I can tell you one source for me is the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the BLS, and it's not one standard is what they do during when Democrats are in office, and another standard that they do when Republicans are in office. It's one standard that they calculated. And whenever Democrats are in, they always want to say, oh, these numbers are inflated. Like, oh, these are post-COVID numbers. Well, who gives a fuck? It's still the same standard, the same tape measure used to determine the job growth. And you find that in the Bureau of Labor Standards. So, again, just go to the source. These people are nonpartisan. They're bean counters, and all they do is report the numbers that they get from unemployment offices around the country to report on job growth and labor statistics, among one of the many ways they calculate, job growth in this country.
You said it the best. I don't have much of a say or opinion on it, but it's like, that all makes sense to me. Honestly, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, but I mean that's a source. Don't listen to me as your source. I'm telling you where I go to get my information.
Yeah, I mean, like what I'm saying is, like, I couldn't agree more that would be a valid source, or another source after that. Like, if you were to go there and then maybe go to like another place to go and see, like, see what else is going on, because like news outlets can be inaccurate. I mean, I looked at a car accident news clip the other day about the same accident, but one said 80 miles per hour and the other one said 60 miles per hour. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it really depends. That's why you look at your sources in different ways.
Right.
But I agree that is a valid source of information, and I mean, I can't agree more. Like, just find your own source, find your valid source that you need to, but find others that can back it up and resource off of that. Reference. That's the word I'm looking for. Reference. Thank you. Reference off of that. So, I mean, we learned references as kids. And find other sources, alternate sources that confirm the information, like multiple facts. Like, we've learned that.
And when you go, so for example, when you go to BLS, they'll say where they get their information. So we calculated this, this, and this from this jurisdiction, and this jurisdiction was totals up to these numbers. It's all just a reporting system that they use, and it guides what's going on. So when someone says, oh, the economy was doing better otherwise, well, what measure are you using to do that by? Because under this standard, you have no idea what you're talking about.
And I remember what I was going to say earlier, with it being an unbiased as well, and biased standard, where it doesn't matter which side or which is going on, the results have stayed accurate and the same, consistent. Like, that's also a good source. Like,
it's
that's
numbers. It's math.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, it can't be biased. Numbers are facts.
Right.
Basically.
All right, man. So I think we should go to our dumbass of the week.
You go first.
All right, man. So this is mine, and it kind of irks me because there was a remembrance of 9/11 while we were on vacation, and that happened 22 years ago. So for 22 years, whenever you've gotten on a plane, ever since 9/11, you've been given a speech by the flight crew saying where the bathrooms are on the plane. Do not congregate at the front of the plane.
There's literally a whole
thing. Look when the red light is on. Don't come up here when the red light is on.
They do the display for you.
You still have people going up to the front of the plane thinking it's okay to stand in line to wait to use the bathroom. I'm just like, how much of a dumbass do you have to be to not get what they're telling you and why they're telling you? And this close to the Remembrance Day, the day of the day this shit happened, and your dumbass still wanders up there
and stands there,
and it has to be told to turn around and go back to the back of the plane of your seat and wait.
Being a safety instructor, it's a hazard to be in it's a hazard just to be in the walkway where there's exits that need to be open.
Yeah.
So
don't be a dumbass, and go, and you can always tell who those dumbasses are. You see them every day. The person who, never mind. I don't even want to go into that because I'm not trying to stereotype anybody. Just remember 9/11. Don't stand at the front of the plane. You're a dumbass if you do. There's a reason for it anyway.
I have like a double combo for my dumbass of the week thing. It's about incel and simp behavior. Okay, one, there was a stabbing that happened recently with a 15-year-old and a 17-year-old. The 15-year-old girl rejected the 17-year-old boy's advancements, and he ended up stabbing her to death. Dumbass stuff happening in our world. Especially with people talking and preaching dumbass shit like Andrew Tate, and about how men are superior and blah blah blah, women succumb and whatever, all that bullshit. Like, the culture has changed. Dating is scary now. Like, it's really weird. And dumb and stupid.
And Andrew Tate's a dumbass.
We really should not be stabbing people for rejecting you. You should deal with the heartbreak and move on and find something else in life to do. Someone's life does not deserve to end for saying they do not want to be with you. I mean, you stabbed them. I wouldn't want to be with you either.
Right.
Especially if that was or there was some... Anyway. Moving on from that, the simp behavior part, the dumbassery about this. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift are in a relationship, some sort of relationship of status. Nothing really confirmed. I don't know. But the dumbassery part of it is his jersey sales went up 400% because these Taylor Swift simps are buying Kelce gear. Like, it's not like super like dumb, like this is dumb. It's just stupid that the fact it went up 400%. That's 4 times the amount of normal sales. Right? Yeah, technically full of the amount of sales. Yeah, 4 times the amount. And it's so crazy. But I've always preached that numbers in popularity do outweigh in power of money.
We've talked about it before.
I would say that is a show of that.
A display of that. Had a great day last Sunday.
You did have a good day. And apparently what also in effect is that the Jets have sold out more tickets than they have ever within the season already, because the Chiefs are going to go play at Jet Stadium and Taylor Swift is going to be in attendance.
Yeah.
What the F? That's some dumbass shit. Anyways, that's my comment.
That's it.
Simp incel behavior is dumbassery.
Well, that's all the time we have for this week.
I'm Zane.
I'm Gene.
And it's good to see you guys again.
And you've been hanging with Uncle.
We'll see you next week.
All right, take care.